The Modi government has issued a stern warning, telling Yunus to first ensure safety of Hindu minorities in Bangladesh rather than interfering in India's internal affairs. West Bengal is burning, but according to reports, there could be a Bangladeshi hand behind the unrest and violence in India. What began as protests against the controversial Waqf law in Bengal's Murshidabad district quickly descended into deadly chaos, leaving 3 dead, hundreds arrested, several neighborhoods in ruins, and an exodus of Hindu families fearing for their safety. Shockingly, the Yunus government issued a statement backing the agitators in Bengal. The Indian Ministry of External Affairs hit back sternly, saying, quote, "Instead of making unwarranted comments and indulging in virtue signaling, Bangladesh would do better to focus on protecting the rights of its own minorities," unquote. Now, reports citing BSF intelligence suggest that the unrest may have been fueled by Bangladeshi extremist outfits like the JMB and ABT and their sleeper cells inside West Bengal, who remain unchecked in the state. According to NDTV, an initial probe conducted by central forces deployed in the state has pointed to the involvement of foreign elements in orchestrating this violence. These infiltrators, some of them believed to have crossed over from Bangladesh, allegedly received logistical and ground-level support from local networks as well as sleeper cells. But what alarmed the officials was that situation escalated rapidly once these foreign agitators went rogue, pushing the violence far beyond what even the locals had anticipated. The findings were included in a detailed report submitted to the Union Home Ministry, which is currently on high alert over the worsening situation in West Bengal. Intelligence agencies are now zeroing in on 3 Bangladesh-based fundamentalist outfits suspected of orchestrating the unrest in Bengal: Jamaat Bangladesh, Hizb Tahrir, and a Bangla team. Among these, ABT is emerging as the most likely player due to its strong presence in Bangladesh's Chapai Nawabganj, which borders violence-hit regions of Samsherganj and Dhulia in Bengal. This suspicion gains weight given that some of ABT's most wanted foot soldiers were arrested from Murshidabad in December during a joint operation by Bengal and Assam police. Intelligence reports have long warned of ABT's increasing influence in districts like Murshidabad and Nadia due to penetrable borders and failure of the state government to act on this issue. Meanwhile, the Union Home Ministry continues to assess the region's fragile peace after Central Armed Police Forces or CAPF were deployed on the orders of the Calcutta High Court. The court had sharply criticized the state government's response to the communal unrest, stating that an earlier intervention by the Central Armed Police Force could have prevented the situation from becoming grave and volatile. Now, the violence erupted on the 13th of April, shortly after protests broke out after the Indian Parliament passed the Waqf Amendment Act. While the long-awaited law has largely been welcomed across the country, in Murshidabad, it ignited a volatile situation as minority communities went on a rampage. Arson, looting, and stone pelting spread across key areas like Suti, Samsherganj, Dhulia, and Jangipur. Videos from the ground captured chilling images. Motorcycles belonging to police forces were set ablaze, police vehicles were overturned and gutted, and armed mobs clashed with law enforcement. The visuals reflect a complete breakdown of law and order in Mamata Banerjee's West Bengal. More than 200 people have finally been detained in connection with these riots, but the trauma among the local residents is far from over. Entire communities remain shaken, with many families now displaced, some forced into exile within their own country. India has strongly rebutted Bangladesh's recent remarks, terming Dhaka's statement as unwarranted and virtue signaling. New Delhi advised its eastern, smaller neighbor to first focus on the protection of its own minority communities instead of attempting to lecture others. The diplomatic spat erupted after Bangladesh's press secretary Shafiqul Alam commented on the Murshidabad clashes, saying New Delhi must protect the rights of the rioters. India's Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Ranveer Jaiswal responded sharply, saying, quote, "These remarks are barely disguised and disingenuous attempt to deflect attention from the ongoing persecution of minorities in Bangladesh, where perpetrators often roam free without consequence," unquote. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar had recently informed the parliament that there had been 2,400 incidents of violence against largely Hindu minorities in Bangladesh during 2024 alone, triggered by political turmoil following the ouster of democratically elected Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. That number, he said, already stands at 72 for 2025. With the caretaker government led by Mohammad Yunus now in power in Dhaka, India has consistently raised concerns over minority safety in diplomatic forums, including the recent BIMSTEC summit. The latest exchange comes at a time when West Bengal Governor C.V. Ananda Bose has announced a visit to the violence-hit regions of Murshidabad, declaring that he would impose peace at any cost. The governor's decision met resistance from Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, who urged him to delay the visit, claiming that normalcy was returning. Shockingly, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee recently also blamed the union government and the Border Security Force or the BSF for the violence in Murshidabad. Addressing Muslim religious leaders, Banerjee said that reports of Bangladeshi infiltrators behind the unrest point to a failure by the Border Security Force or the BSF, which operates under the Union Home Ministry and not the state. If infiltrators entered from Bangladesh, who let them in? BSF follows Delhi's orders, not ours, she asserted. With this, she also appeared to counter the BSF intelligence reports which pointed at the hand of sleeper cells of Bangladeshi extremist outfits which operate unchecked inside Bengal. Bangladesh's move to halt yarn imports from India via land ports has also sparked chaos in its $47 billion garment sector. Intended to protect local producers from cheaper Indian yarn, the ban has instead raised costs for exporters and slowed production in Bangladesh. With transshipments through Indian airports also cancelled, Dhaka's actions amid tensions post-Yunus government are hitting where it hurts. Experts and exporters are calling the decision hasty and self-damaging, as sea imports from India, China or Turkey cost more as well as take longer. Small factories are bracing for financial strain, risking Bangladesh's global garment advantage. Bangladesh has also urged Pakistan to issue a formal apology for the genocide committed during the 1971 war by Pakistani forces. Bangladesh's Foreign Secretary shared details of a diplomatic meeting held in Dhaka, where discussions about unresolved matters were held, including the war atrocities committed by Pakistani forces. Bangladesh's demand for an apology for the mass killings and rapes by Pakistan's military during the war have remained a central issue in bilateral relations. This even as the two countries are boosting bilateral economic as well as military ties after decades. Reports also point towards an increasing role of Pakistani intelligence or ISI agency inside Bangladesh with an aim to destabilize the Siliguri corridor as well as border regions of India, including Bengal. So what do you believe? Who's behind the violence in West Bengal? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.